Okay, I am joined again by my good friend Paul Rosenberg. Paul is the founder of Crypto Hippie, a really incredible VPN service that I actually use myself. He's also the writer and publisher for Parallel Society newsletter, one of my favorite newsletters, which I read every single month. I'm a big fan. And today I want to talk to you, Paul, kind of about big tech and big data and kind of what's going on in this sector right now. So, straight off the bat, I want to ask you why. I mean, it's such a simple question, but why are they doing this? Why are they collecting so much data?
Well, there are several reasons. One of them is they found out that they could do it, and it's one of the oldest tricks in the world. Oh, look, little boy, I have free candy in the car, and they found out that it worked. And it worked on the internet in particularly. We're going to give you free stuff. And what they do is they take what they call the cognitive surplus. That means based upon what you do online, there's so much other information attached to that. What you buy, when you buy, who you talk to, what they do after they talk to you, and all of these types of things. And they find out that if they suck in with a little bit of free candy, they can get all the rest of this, and it's immensely valuable. Google brought in 160 or 180 billion dollars last year. It's insane. So they found out they could do it, and then of course they got partnerships almost from the very beginning with the intelligence agencies, CIA, the NSA. They're all involved with this. Foreign intelligence agencies get in on anything they can. Because imagine if you're a spy master and all of a sudden you can get deep surveillance on 4 billion people at once, and you can get it just in return for a few political favors. How could you not take it? So they do, and that's kind of that's kind of like the force behind the force. And they're involved from the beginning. Google took money from the CIA way early, and all the rest do the same sorts of things.
And so how much data are we actually talking about here? How much are they actually storing, do you think?
Oh, almost everything. Eric Schmidt, who was the boss of Google 11 years ago, was bragging that he knew what everyone would be doing on Tuesday morning. And they do. If you think about what everybody gives to Google and Facebook in particular, it's billions of people. And they know what you're looking for. They know what you're interested in. They know which of your children you talk to more than the others. They know which of your children you're angry with and which of your children you're happier with. And what the children say about you behind your back. I mean, they've got all of this stuff. They know what you're having for breakfast for a billion people. They have all of this stuff, and it is cheap and easy these days to store it, to analyze it, to correlate it, to do whatever they want. It isn't done by hand like in the old days. They would have some, intelligence. Here comes the intelligence, Jim. Oh, they would go through it. They train computers to do it. And once the computer is trained, it's essentially free. And they can do this on 1 billion people at once, and they do it. So it's really so much worse than people think.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
So every time I talk to you, I'm always like, I know we've talked about these things so many times, but every time I'm just like, oh, geez. Okay, so talk to me. Where is this data stored? Like, where are we talking about here?
It's in giant data centers.
Okay.
They have them tucked away all over the place. The NSA has a giant one in Utah. Depending on how you run the numbers, it can hold between 10 and 100 years of world internet traffic and sort it in just about real time.
So all internet traffic.
Everything, everywhere. I'm sure they miss a fraction of 1% somewhere.
Jesus.
And they've got it all. And not to mention 11 acres of computers underneath Fort Meade, Maryland. And then Google has giant warehouses all over all over. I know they have a giant one in Oregon. They have in Texas. They have Microsoft has them. Amazon has them, and they're just acres of computers. And they use a very special kind of heuristic, which is a way of dealing with the data. They like these fancy terms. usually we call it big data. Some people call it AI, whatever. And there's lots of little variations. But they can deal with all this data. And in these systems, we used to say, oh, well, they can't drink out of a fire hose. Big data loves the fire hose.
Wow.
The bigger fire hose, the better.
So how do they process all of this information? Like you would think that like they would never be able to use it. I mean, I've always heard the things, yes, they're collecting the data, but they don't have the technology to really do anything with it. They're collecting it so that one day in the future when they do have the technology, then they're going to be able to search it and sort it and process it.
Once upon a time, that was true.
Yeah.
And but that time is not anymore. This big data likes this amount of, and they're using it already all the time. If you want to translate something for Google Translate, they don't go. Let's say I want to translate, where is the cat, from English into Spanish. They don't consult a dictionary. They consult these oceans of data streaming back and forth and say, oh, the way to say that is donde está el gato. But they don't do it from a dictionary like we would look it up in a Spanish-English dictionary. They don't do it that way.
Yeah.
They do it by observing oceans of data and then saying, it sounds crazy. If anybody remembers the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and the deep thought computer, they just fed it information and come back after 10,000 years and it'll give you the answer, but it doesn't know why. That's what big data is. Wow. Except it doesn't take 10,000 years. It takes 10 microseconds or something, 10 milliseconds.
Amazing. So what are a couple of easy things that people can do right now today to start protecting themselves from what's going on?
Well, first of all, do not use Google, do not use Facebook. Okay. Just don't. Sorry, go back to 1998. I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable. It's designed to make you uncomfortable. Okay, they have teams of psychiatrists and psychologists that purposefully addict you to these services. That's why they added things like tagging and all these things, because you get a tiny little shot of dopamine if somebody tags you in the message. And it's designed to addict you. I mean, by professionals. So just don't. Cut the cord. If you want to search, use DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo.com, really nice little search engine. They don't do that to you. Do that. There are other translation services. If you look around, you can find them. But you're just going to have to and support people who build alternate platforms. There is no reason that Twitter should be centralized. Everyone knows what BitTorrent is. It's the file sharing service, or not service, file sharing system. It's just a protocol. It's part of Bitcoin. But there's no reason Twitter shouldn't be that way. That wouldn't be evil, and that you could share with all your friends, and you could do it that way. And I don't think it's that hard to build. I have enough jobs, so I'm not going to try to do it. But that could be done. And when you've got someone who's doing something like that, support them. Because the easy thing these days is to sell your clients' souls and get rich. And we just can't do it. So get the hell away from anyone who's doing that.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I know it's an uncomfortable topic a lot of times, but these are things that I try to bring to you guys because I think it is really, really important, and I want to make sure you guys are aware. That's why I always try to bring the best and brightest minds in the space to uncover these uncomfortable truths.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.